He actually had some water damage too from a flood.
Start now.
It wasn't about what I wanted, it was about what he wanted.
Just go there, the right people are there.
I'm not afraid to fail.
Am I willing to write in that check? Absolutely. All day long.
This interview is with my buddy Billy Alvaro. Now, Billy's got one of the most interesting stories that I've ever heard, and we were together recently in Florida, and I knew I had to capture it. So even though we were busy for the first couple days, the night before I was to fly home, I grabbed him. I said, Billy, you got to come and get this story on camera. So he did. I tore up my hotel room. You can see the bed in the background. It's a total DIY job. I had my camera taking the wide shot. I had my iPad taking the close-up of his face. I had my iPhone, you'll see right there on the counter that's capturing the audio of this. But what I found, it was amazing. It was amazing. His story was so good, I actually watched the iPad version on the plane ride home because it was just so inspirational. And everybody I've showed it to since says the same thing. Wow, so inspirational, so powerful. If you think you can do something, you can do it. And Billy proves that. So I'm so excited for you guys to watch this. Check it out.
That's it. It's easy. It's easy. I've never done one like this before, man. I've never done one like this before.
You got 2 cameras going on, the whole 9 yards? Oh, this is hysterical.
Dude, here's the thing. I just want to know your story, bro. Like, seriously, I just want to know your story. We can edit all this stuff out of here.
Alright, so take me back, what, to the beginning? How far back do you want me to go?
Dude, you just got such an interesting real estate story, bro. You, like, I don't know, how far back
I started from absolutely zero, zilch, nothing. I went to the college thing. I did like a semester of college, quit, because I couldn't take the fact that these professors were like, teacher from a book.
Okay.
You know, you had no real world experience.
Yeah.
And then I accidentally got into the mortgage business, which led me, I mean, that whole mortgage thing was like a whole story in and of itself.
Dude,
right?
we're going to go into that. Dude, we got to get into that. So,
I mean, that was...
Did you drop out of college?
I dropped out. I did a semester and I said, this is not for me.
That was it.
That was it. Did the Air Force. I tried doing the Air Force. I was somebody who tried everything. I said, I'm going to try things. Just to check things out.
Yeah.
To see what I like.
Okay.
I tried the Air Force. I tried college. I tried being a police officer.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you get in? Did you actually...
I went in, I went through the academy, and I said, this isn't for me.
Yeah.
Can't do it. It's not for me, man. Can't do this.
In New York?
In New York, and then I went down to Florida, graduated BSO, Broward County Sheriff, and I said, I just can't do it. Then I started becoming a bartender.
Okay.
I kind of chilled out for a couple of years.
Yeah, yeah.
Did my thing, was bartending, and then I met this old man. He was actually a bookie who used to come into the bar, and he's like, listen, man, I don't know, you're wasting your time behind the bar. I'm going to hook you up with this older gentleman. He wants to train somebody on how to do mortgages. He hooked me up with him.
Okay.
And for a year, I trained with the guy. And, you know, I asked him, what do you make in a year? And the guy was like, he sucked.
The mortgage guy. He's just a loan officer.
He's a nice man, but he sucked at what he was doing. He's making $150 a year. And I said, this guy's making $150. I could probably make $500,000.
And he was no good. The guy was...
He was a good man, but he was just not... He didn't just have that touch. You know, he just didn't... He wasn't putting it together.
Yeah.
And I saw so many things. He wasn't marketing. He just didn't have a lot of the pieces put together.
How old are you at this point?
I was 22 at that age.
Dude, at 22 and you knew that. You still could see that and be like, I can do this better than him.
Yeah, well, you know, I just had that, like... I had that foresight. Like, I was able to see... I always wanted something more for myself, but I didn't know what the hell it was. Right? I knew there was something else out there, but I didn't know what it was. I had a calling, but I didn't know what that calling was. But I also, early on in my age, I had fear was a big factor in my life. It held me back.
Why? So before you were 22?
Before I was 22. I was always the type of kid where I had this... I always wanted to do real estate. Since I was, I don't know, 13, 14 years old, I remember watching that guy with the black mustache and the black hair.
Just a guru. Just an old guru?
One of these old gurus, man. And I remember telling my mother, listen, you got to take me to this show, man. I got to go see this guy. Because at that age, I wanted to get into real estate. In my yearbook...
At 13?
At 13. In my yearbook, high school, I had probably half dozen to 8, 9, 10 people that wrote in there, good luck with your real estate career. I know you're going to kick with, you know, investing in real estate. I was talking about 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th.
You have this in your old yearbooks?
In my... As proof.
Wow.
I have it that I can show you, man. But here's the thing. It took me years to actually get into this business because of fear. Fear limited me.
Okay.
And that's what I want to get across to you and you know, whoever's going to be watching this.
Yeah, which nobody's going to watch this.
Right. But, you know, I mean, the sick thing is the fear really did, it held me back. It held me back at that point, and once I broke through certain things, like I was the type of guy where I would start the real estate piece, I would get my business cards going, I'd get my little, there was no websites back then. This was like the early 90s, so there was no websites. But I'd get my business cards, my telephone number, and I was in business, the LLC going, but then I wouldn't actually take the next step. I thought I was in business, right?
Yeah.
21, 22 years old, I'm in business, but there's no business going on.
Yeah.
Like, it's a
You weren't doing anything.
I wasn't doing anything. It wasn't until I got into the mortgage business and I started meeting certain people and doing certain things that I realized I'm capable of a lot more than what I'm allowing myself to do. Like, it was the mind that was limiting me to not get to the next level. And once I was able to push that to the side, the mortgage industry for me took me to a stratospheric level. Like, I went from, making nothing as a bartender, 30, 40, 50,000 a year, and I just exploded. I was doing 40, 50, 60,000 a month as a loan officer.
Wow.
And then I parlayed that, and I opened up my own mortgage business. And
how old were you when you opened up your first mortgage business?
I was 26 years old. I was 25 when I put the license in, 26 when I got licensed for my own self, for my own business. And I just didn't know what I didn't know. The fear wasn't there anymore because I just didn't know what I didn't know. I didn't know.
So you didn't know at 26 you couldn't do it?
There was nothing in my mind that said I couldn't do it. In my head, I was going to be a billionaire at 26 years old.
Wow.
And why? Because I said I can do anything.
Yeah.
Right? You have that mindset. You can do anything. You really can do anything, man. So I started off, and I just had this dream. I put a number on my wall. Everybody had a number. I put a number on my wall. I remember writing out, when I was a loan officer, $500 million a year. And the one guy who owned...
A year?
A year. The one guy who had the mortgage company, he just laughed at me. He's like, you dumb Italian, New York... like $500 million, you'll never attain that. And I just looked at it and I said, who are you to tell me I can never attain this? Like, who are you? And I remember leaving him, starting our own company, me and this guy John, and it was just him and I in a room, almost like this, man. It was like 2 desks and 2 guys, and we just started selling mortgages. And the next thing I knew, we went from 2 guys in a room to 200 people in a room to 400 people in a room to 950 people nationally. We were doing like 1,000 units a month.
1,000 loans a month?
Yeah.
So how many states were you in?
42.
42 states, over 900 employees,
yeah.
1,000 loans a month.
We had a lot of virtual employees, we had a lot of branches, and it was hairy. But it was at a time when the mortgage industry was going like this, right? So
Dude, I don't care that it's going like that. What made you think that you could do 1,000 loans a month?
Here's the thing. I didn't think I couldn't. That's key right there. Like, I did not think I
You were 26, 27.
There was nothing that was out of my reach. Nothing was out of my reach, man. Nothing.
That's amazing. That is amazing.
Seriously.
Seriously.
There was nothing. I'm speaking to you genuine, man. Like, there was nothing out of my reach that I couldn't have done at that time in my life. At that moment, no fear was in my head. There was no thoughts of negativity. There was no thoughts of self-doubt. When you have that mindset, and you really have that mindset, and that's what I want to get across to you, man. It's like, when you don't fear anything, you could accomplish anything. And when I lost it, though, and here's the rub, I went from fear-based in my life early on to just blocking it out, not having any fear at all. I don't know what got me to that level, but I just went from fear to no fear. When I lost the business in 2006, I was taking a company public, doing a reverse merger, the whole 9 yards, and the thing just crashed, man. The market was taking a tank, and I lost literally everything overnight, like crash and burn. It wasn't a slow dive, it was fast and furious and boom, annihilation.
What year was that?
That was May of 2006. And that was, when it first happened, I kind of sat back and I said, holy Christ, it's over, man. Like, I could do something else, because it was getting hairy there for a while. And it wasn't until 3, 4, 6 months later that really started hitting the fan, because I was personally liable for tens of millions of dollars in liabilities, man.
Yeah.
I was on the hook for everything, bro. For everything.
I can't even imagine that, man.
I had people knocking on my door, man. I had a lot of different people coming after me because I signed personally on corporate debt for money. So I had individuals that I owed money to that I made good on. I had some individuals that I did a personal handshake. It was $1 million deal, and I owed this man $1 million. It was like a friend. And so I made sure that man got his money back. But the corporation side, the Bank of Americas and the Chases and all this other crap, listen, it was a business deal, man. So it was at that point, though, it was 2006 and 2009 where I was really going through the ringer. severely depressed, hardcore drinking, doing drugs, just like at the bottom of the marriage problems. I mean, the whole 9 yards, man. It was like it was a trying time in my life,
Dude, that's more than a trying time, man.
And well, it gets a little hairy because it got to a point where I saw no way out. Like when I looked around and I saw that this thing, there was no way. I didn't think there was a way to get out of this. Like when I looked around, Andy, I was just like, I can't get out of this, man. There's no way for me to make it. So I did what I thought was right at the time, which I now realize it was this coward way out. I said, I'm going to get a life insurance policy myself. I'll name my wife the beneficiary. $3 million. I'll commit suicide. X myself out. She'll be taken care of. And at least she'll be all right. All the rest of it is going to go by the wayside. So I said, I'm going to buy a ticket down to Florida. And you and I discussed this, man. I went down to Florida, and it was legit, man. I went down there with a purpose. And the purpose was to settle what I had to settle, commit suicide, give her the insurance policy, and that was it. Have her life just try to be a little bit better than what it was, because she was stressed out. It was people just knocking on the door. Wasn't good for her, for anybody. And I was at the lowest of lowest points, man. It was late 2008, beginning of 2009, and everything was set, and I got to the point where I was doing it, like I was eating the pills and drinking the booze, and I was writing a letter, and I was really serious about what I was doing. There was no going back. And then I just something else was popping in my head at that time when I was doing it. I had 6 different law firms I was paying to fight all these different lawsuits that were happening. It was like $48,000 a month combined. I know they were raping me. They were just massively just increasing my bills. They weren't doing anything for the money. And I remember, man, as I was in my house, I had a nice pad on the Intercoastal that was in foreclosure. The house, everything was being taken away, man. It was just like I was at my last rope. And I remember the whole story of what was going on, running through my head. I remember as I was eating pills and drinking and waiting for it to take place, and I remember these thoughts of these attorneys, man, just taking advantage of me, man. And I started getting pissed off, and then I started throwing up. I started forcing myself to throw up. And as it started coming out of me, and this whole episode played out, and it was just very emotional. It was a real emotional block of hours in my life. And I remember coming out of it and just being pissed off, man. When I came out of it, I was angered. I was pissed, beyond pissed on, this is not me. I'm not a coward. I'm not a failure. And that's when I bought a course online. And I don't want to mention it. Should I mention the course?
Nah, whatever.
I bought a course online on how to go to court, represent yourself.
Yeah.
And it was an information product. And I fired all my attorneys, man. And I started representing myself in court. I hired a paralegal. And my mission was to get myself out of this mess. And for a few years, that's what I did. I lost the house to foreclosure. I repossessed my car. It just didn't get better all of a sudden. I went through another downturn. I had some major happen to me. I lost the house down in Florida. I moved back to New York, and I had people knocking on my door that weren't friendly people, and it was emotional, man. But it was 2009. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. I got through this. I represented myself. I went to court. I fought all the cases, and I won.
By yourself. You fire the $48,000 a month attorney firms.
6 different firms.
6. You fire them all. You get the self-help attorney, whatever it was.
Again, my mind went back from weakness to nothing's going to stop me. It's the mindset thing, right? It's all about the mindset. And when I had that mindset of, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop. I didn't do anything wrong here, and I'm not going to stop, and nobody's going to take me down. And it was at that moment that I just started fighting, man. I just went to court. My mission was to just go to court and fight. And I fought, and I won the $4.8 million lawsuit. I won the $2 million lawsuit, all these little frivolous lawsuits that were going on. It was a total block of $14 million. And then some of the stuff that was personally against me, we got waived. It was against the business, not against me. I wound up nailing that stuff down at $2 million. I filed bankruptcy. It took me 6 years, man. It was a 6-year fight, but I got through it. Now, in that time frame, though, there was a lot that was going on, and I was like mentally strong, weak. I was like trying to get something together. I tried to identify with myself. Like, what am I going to do next? Losing a business like that, like $38 million a year in revenue.
Yeah.
Now, like, having nothing come in, working at a mortgage banker shop. It was a rough time in my life. And then it was July 4th, Independence Day, 2009, and I was wasted on my couch. You know, it was like 11 o'clock in the morning. I was blown out of my socks. 2009, 3.5 years after I lost Global. And I just remember my wife, Mary, she's sitting there looking at me saying, what are you doing, man? Like, this is not the guy I married. Now I'm thinking in the back of my head, this is the speech. She's going to wind up ducking out the back door.
Yeah.
And she supported me, man. She's just like, what do you want to do with yourself? Like, what are you doing? Why are you like this? Like, this is not the guy I married. I said, I don't know what I'm going to do. What am I going to do with myself? And she just questioned it right back. She put the mirror on my face. And she goes, what did you always want to do? And what did I always want to do? I started off the story that way. I always wanted to do real estate. I always wanted to get into the real estate, right? So I'm like, what do you mean? It was all about, like, what you? What do you mean? What do I want to do? You know what I want to do? I want to do real estate. She's like, well, then why don't you? And I came up with every excuse, which everybody out there that watches, everybody out there that wants to get into real estate has. At this point in my life, the lowest point, I had no money, zero. I had no credit, zero. I had no income coming in. I had nothing coming. I was piss poor broke. And I looked at her and I gave her all the excuses, and she looked at me and she said, when you started your mortgage bank, what did you have? And I thought, now I love this girl because she put everything in perspective in one sentence, one little conversation. I said, what do you mean? She goes, you tell me, what did you have when you started Global? Did you have money? I said, no. Did you have credit? I said, no. Did you have any income? I said, no. She goes, well, what the hell is different then than now? And now here's a girl that just absolutely loves me, and I sat back and I looked at her, and for a while I just gave her that stare down, and I said, you're right, man. What the hell is holding me back but me? And that's when I put my blinders on, and I just wiped everything out, and I said from that, I had a lot of other that was going on. I said my purpose and my focus is to start investing in real estate. It's going to take me another 1.5 to 2 years to clean it up. But my focus was on getting into that. And it was at that moment that I made the decision to get into real estate investing. And you know what? After 1.5 years of cleaning up the crap, from nothing, from scratch, from zero, from no credit, from no money, from no income coming in, I designed a company that was bringing in $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 a month, $150,000 a month, $120,000. I mean, it just started to scale. You know, now we're doing, not a lot, we're doing like 56, 57 deals a year. And I have now the opportunity to grow a business all over again, man. And I'm excited, man. I'm excited to do this whole thing all over again with a lot smarter, with a lot better people around me. A lot better people. I mean, the group that we're in.
Yeah.
You know, we got some good people around us, man.
Absolutely.
And I'm excited to do this whole thing again, but differently. You know?
Dude, your story is so unique. That mindset you talk about, everybody talks about mindset, but you went from not believing at 13 to then somehow believing, and you blew this thing up, to not believing again, and now you just turned the corner to believe again, and you do a ton of stuff. You say 56 deals a year, but your 56 deals are like huge.
I got some big deals.
You got some big deals, right?
Yeah,
so you say you don't do anything.
Deals.
But you do a lot of stuff.
But here's the deal, man. Like because I lost that business, you know, I still struggle with certain things. I shared it with you. You know, I'm going through my own thing of I now need to rebuild this business, relinquish control, bring other people in, not be a control freak, and I'm looking forward to getting to that next level in life, man. I really am. I'm looking forward to building a business again, but I never want to have a business that was the size it was in my previous life, 14, 15 years ago when I had that business.
You are extremely powerful. Like, your mindset, people talk about mindset. You had it, you lost it, you had it, you have it again. It's amazing. Like, I've never met anyone else like that. I've never met anyone else that has that much just, you just turned the corner. When Mary came to you and said that same thing, what did you have then? And it clicked for you?
It clicked.
And you just turned the corner, it's just like, boom. Just like the time the attorneys are saying this and that, it clicked for you.
That's a good point, because there's certain things in life where you meet somebody reaches out and they touch you, they say something that resonates with you, that touches you, that just does something to get you off of the track you're on. You might be at the lowest point in your life. You might be at the bottom of the barrel thinking like, what am I going to do with myself? And if somebody reaches out and touches you and changes you, they might not even know they're doing it, But this just the words that resonate with you, they're able to take you and completely shift you onto a completely different track in life. My wife has no idea she did that to me. I mean, she does, but I don't think she really realizes how powerful that was on what she said to me. I'm getting a little choked up here.
No.
You
That's
know,
amazing, man.
It was. She literally put me on a different track in life, man. She really did.
She saved you, man.
Completely. But she gave me the insight to realize that I was able to get myself out of where I was. I always had the ability, and that's the people out there. They have the ability. Somebody needs to reach out and touch them to have them realize.
Some people need someone to tell them that they do that, like to see something in them and tell them they have the ability. Because you can't believe it yourself sometimes until somebody comes and tells you. Like you experienced it, but it took Mary pointing it out to you, saying, "What's the difference?" And then you were like,
"Right." She put me on the spot, man. She literally put me on the spot. This little 5'3" blonde bombshell. She held me accountable. She's like, "Well, what the hell was the difference when you were 22 years old? You had no money, you had no credit, you had no experience, you had no nothing. You're making excuses. Stop making excuses." And I'm like, holy man, she's holding me accountable. You know, like, I gotta get my money. I'm like, you're right, man. You're 100% right, you know? And it's just, you know, I don't know, man. This whole thing, this whole real estate thing, the mindset with people that want to get into real estate, that want to do this, that think they can't, and it's the mindset. It's I don't have the money, I don't have the credit, I don't have the experience. Well, guess what? Neither did I. I didn't have it when I started the mortgage bank. I didn't have it when I got into this whole real estate thing. I mean, I had experience, but I didn't have experience. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I mean, just like you, man. You started off, you didn't know exactly what you were doing. But the fear factor holds people back from getting to the next level in life. So, I mean, that's, listen, man. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
You know? Anybody can do whatever they want to do, as long as they get this straight and they realize that it's 99% in your head. It's 99% in your head. Everything else, nothing else matters. All this other crap that goes on out there, man, it just, it really does not matter, man. It just matters. Whatever you're being pressed with, faced with, as long as you keep this straight and you think and you really honestly, firmly believe in your head that you can do whatever it is that you're telling yourself you can do, I mean, I'm living proof, man. You can do it.
Dude, the mind is such a powerful thing. If you truly believe it, conceive it, and can believe it, you can achieve it, right? Or whatever those quotes are.
Right. Yeah, James Allen, man.
Is that... I have a question. I ask people this, too. If you could go back to yourself at, whatever age, 17, right, or 18 years old, and if you could get in a time machine and go back there and whisper in Billy's ear, you could bring yourself, your experience, all your life right now, what would you go back and tell yourself at, I don't know, whatever, 18 years old, right? What would you go and, talk to yourself about? If you had 5 minutes to say, what would you go say?
I would use 2 words, man. I swear to God, it would be 2 words. It would be start now. That's it. Start now. I mean, that is powerful, man. I don't care what it is you want to do in life. Start now. Time is the one thing that it just goes. Like we don't have an infinite amount of time. We all have a limited amount. That's the one thing. You can make an overwhelming amount of money. You can do anything you want to do, but the one thing that you cannot do is create more time. You could try to create systems to give yourself more time for the time that you're here, but we all have a certain amount of time. So I would say to anybody who's out there, man, is just, if I can come back to myself at 15, at 13 years old, when I had people telling me at 13, 15, 18, I remember this one dude who told me when I was 18 years old, man, I'm going to get into real estate. I remember this older man, I respected him. Oh, you don't want to do that. Oh, it's bad business. You don't want to. And he gave me every reason why. And if I could tell anybody out there, it's just, don't listen to it. Start now.
That's amazing. You overcame all that. Maybe that was the reason you didn't start to do that early, but all those people telling you that, and everybody's always got people around them telling that, which is probably those people telling themselves that I can't do that. That's what they're saying, right?
Right.
But they're saying, oh, you can't do that, but really it means they can't do that. But
right. They're putting their own beliefs onto you of what they can't do, and they're all, but you can't really listen to anybody. But when you're that young, you don't know. You don't know because you don't have somebody who's touching you and saying, you can do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're 14, if you're 15, if you're 18, if you're 22, if you're 65. Start now. Start now, man, and just start doing it.
You know, and nowadays when you get people, I'm sure you have better people surrounding you now. But you get people around you, like we've talked about this weekend, like me telling you, I've just gone through some stuff. I'm like, dude, you can do this too, and vice versa. You tell me, man, you can do this. I'm talking about, you know, the blog interview things and all that stuff, man. And you're like, man, you can do this. And it's like sometimes we just need people to support us like that, but you proved it, man.
You just need somebody. Yeah, we need somebody just to believe in us and just to. Sometimes we just need that little support, man. Right? We need people around us who just give us that little support, just to get us to that next level.
That's true, man.
And when you're against all odds, though, when you have people who don't believe in you, or not that they don't believe in you, but they don't believe in themselves, they're portraying that onto you. It's a struggle, but man, just start now. Just go out there and do it, man. Just do it and realize that you're gonna fail. You're gonna screw things up. I screwed everything up when I started the mortgage company, but guess what? I had when I got to that point where I had no fear, I just kept on failing forward. I would trip, I'd fall, I'd get myself up, and I'd be like, I'm never going to do that again. And then I realized what I could do, you know, and just kept on going forward. I kept failing forward. But the failure thing, people, it puts them into that, like, deer in the headlights look. But they don't know what to do, so they do nothing.
Yeah.
You know? And that's just a really bad way to live. Take it from me, man. That's a bad way to live. You don't want to live like that. And I know you agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Another question for you. Talk to me about education. Do you read books? Do you surround yourself with people? We're here. I mean, we're in a group, just a mastermind group together, stuff. But like, what's that look like for you now?
I'm an avid reader, man. Like I try to read at least one book a week, depending on the size of the book. Like you read an Anthony Robbins book, it might take you a week and a half to 2 weeks because it's 500 pages. But I'm self-developed, right? So I went to college. I tried going to college and do the traditional route, and it just wasn't for me. But I believe that if you're going to excel in life, you have to first, start taking in the information by reading, by taking courses, by doing what we're doing with networking. And you need to start aligning yourself with people who have a similar belief system. People who are like you, different but alike, who you can grow with, you all have a different perspective on things, but you all have like this vision of where you want to go. If you're hanging out with a bunch of guys or girls that are just down and out, and all they have is the negativity, you are who you are hanging out with. I mean, what's that old saying, man? You're the
average of the five people you hang out with.
People you hang out with, right? I mean, that's
everything, income, thoughts, education, all
truth, man. That's the truth. You know, so you have to get off your bunker, man. You need to go out there and start reading certain things, and you need to start self-educating. Just because you don't have a college degree doesn't mean you can't be educated. Doesn't mean you can't be and get yourself to that next level. And you need to surround yourself with other people who are like you, have similar values, similar drives. You know, like this whole event that we're at, this is all about just bettering yourself, getting your business as a real estate investor to the next level. And I'm grateful, I'm blessed to be around you guys, man.
I feel that way about you, man. Seriously, like you've had your story and just who you are and just unique and just like genuine, and it has an impact on me. It has a huge impact on me.
Was this the first weekend that we like connected on that level?
No, last time, I mean, I connected with you last time, but definitely.
But you didn't know my whole story, though.
I didn't know your whole story, but I texted you just because honestly, you're probably one of the. I mean, you're you're one of the coolest guys to hang out with here. Seriously, so I texted you on the way in, so I'm glad we could hang out.
Yeah,
just
me
like,
too, bro.
Dude, you're just unique, man, and your story is unique too. But
I appreciate that, bro.
Yeah, but it was just, dude, it's just you got a killer story, man.
And I'm looking forward to the next interview 5 years down the road, man.
Dude, you're killing it already.
I'm looking forward to it, man.
I'm looking forward to the next 3 months because I know what you're going to do in your business, dude. I know the stuff you're going to outsource and what you're going to get. Like, it's going to kill it.
I have no option but to succeed, right? Like,
you were going to succeed. You were, of all the people in our group, you had success beyond, I would say, 98% of them previously. You have that in you, and then the stuff happened that happened, but you just proved to yourself, like, most people, everyone puts limits on themselves.
Right.
The limiting beliefs, right? But when you took those blinders, when you put the blinders on and you didn't have limiting beliefs, dude, you didn't think there was any. And now you're back on that again. I know you don't want to do the same thing you did before, but you can have whatever you want.
Right.
Like everybody.
But that's the key thing, though. I have to really, truly define, and anybody has to really, truly define what it is they want.
Yeah.
And I wanted a $1 billion company. I wanted I wanted to be the biggest, largest when I had the mortgage bank. So you have to really be careful what you want, because I started getting it, right? So I don't want that this time around. I want different things. And that's what I'm going through right now, my process of what it is I really specifically want out of this whole real estate investment gig. Like, what is it that I want? How many people's lives do I want to touch and change? What does my business look like? I don't want to be working 80 hours a week, man. I want to have the lifestyle that I once visioned.
Yeah.
25, 30 hours a week. And I'll get there, right?
No.
If I want the biggest, baddest, largest, it's going to take a lot of work and a lot of life out of me. I don't want that. So you have to be careful with what you wish for, man.
You get it.
You'll get it, man. You put it out there. It's the weirdest thing, man. You put it out, and it's kind of like, I don't know, man. It kind of like just starts to happen, and you get pointed in that direction. So be careful what you wish for. Be careful on what you're putting out to the universe.
Yeah.
I don't want to get all,
I know.
But it's the truth, man.
Yeah.
You know it, because you live that way, too.
I do. But there's certain people that are special that have been given, like, gifts, man. You've seriously been given the gift of being fearless. You've been given the gift of this experience to, like, share with people, and your story is just so killer. Like, people are going to see. I mean, you explained it, man. You were down and out. You were going to go.
I was going to just end the show, man.
Yeah.
You
went from that. You went from lack of belief to, like, huge belief you could do anything to crash down, and now you're
on the backup swing, man.
You totally are. And not only that, your story and all this stuff is going to affect tons of people.
I hope it does.
Yeah. Not necessarily through this, I mean, but seriously.
I'm just talking overall. When I start to get myself out there and I start to touch people, like today when we had that whole thing of what do you want to leave? How do you want your gravestone, your grave to be remembered? And I want to leave a legacy, man, but I want to change and touch a lot of people's lives. I want to do that. Not for recognition, not for money or fame. I really want to change and touch people's lives to have them realize they can do and get whatever they want in life, man. Whatever it is.
What's powerful about that is, man, you're one of those people that has and will get what you want. And what you just said there, you're going to get that too, which is huge.
Yeah.
You're going to leave a legacy, and you're going to touch a lot of people's lives, man. Dude,
I'm
I appreciate it, man. I
Yeah,
appreciate
bro.
it. It's late at night.
We've
had like three busy
12 o'clock in
days.
the morning, shit?
Yeah, dude, it's 3 busy days,
Three
but I'm
full
glad.
days.
You live in New York, I live in Utah, and I was like, I had to get it on video.
I'm glad you did, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
I'm
This
glad
was
you
good.
came up, man.
Yeah, me too.
I'm glad you
bro.
came up
It
and
was
did
a couple
this.
of minutes, man.
Yeah, all right, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
all right, buddy. We'll edit all the other stuff out.
That was good, man.
Yeah, that was good.